Hi, I'm Brian Kuhn, and you're watching Your Future, Your Finances. Today we're talking with Shannon Hammond, elder law attorney in Maryland. Welcome, Shannon. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you work within the laws around Medicaid and securing government for support for loved ones as they age, correct?
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my background is in estates and trusts. I started my practice in the estates and trust arena doing estate planning for higher net worth clients, and I began to recognize a growing need for not so much tax planning, but for people who needed to qualify for long-term care, Medicaid benefits. And not knowing anything about that, I shifted my focus from estate planning to long-term care planning. So that falls under this umbrella of elder law, which includes estate planning as well as long-term care planning.
Yeah, elder law is a specific area of law now.
It is. It's a specific practice area. It includes those things, estate planning and elder law, long-term care, also guardianship and probate typically fall within the elder law arena.
So this is within the entire state of Maryland. What's going on lately in Maryland as it relates to elder law?
Well, there have been some recent changes to the laws surrounding Medicaid eligibility, and just for clarification, when I'm talking about Medicaid, I'm talking specifically about Medicaid long-term care benefits. There are other Medicaid programs, but as far as these rules, I'm discussing long-term care benefits. Procedurally, they have simplified the application process, which is a relief. So as opposed to having to file a full 5 years worth of bank records with every application, they have a simplified or streamlined application process. So only select statements throughout the 5-year look-back need to be filed, along with tax returns and other demographic verification. So that makes the application smaller, and the goal behind that is to make the processing time faster. So you should get a determination sooner than previously, where the applications were more cumbersome and took months for caseworkers to review.
So some areas are getting easier, some areas are getting harder, if you will.
Some areas, I mean, the eligibility requirements are fairly strict. We have to keep in mind that Medicaid is a means-tested program, which means it's not available for everybody. You have to meet certain income and asset tests in order to qualify for Medicaid long-term care. So those requirements remain fairly stringent. They've also made some changes to the rules regarding gifts that were made during the 5-year look-back period. Generally, gifting is a dirty word in the Medicaid context, so I still discourage clients from making gifts if they anticipate the need to apply for Medicaid. But the Medicaid eligibility division did recognize that there are circumstances where people would have made gifts during the 5-year look-back that have nothing to do with qualifying for Medicaid. Things like holidays, anniversaries, financial hardship of a child, any unforeseen medical circumstance. If you didn't know you were going to need long-term care, a gift that you made a month prior or 2 years prior could not have been made in anticipation of applying for long-term care. So they've recognized that there are those circumstances, and they've lessened the penalties surrounding those.
So now there's a variety of environments where people can receive care, long-term care. There's CCRCs, assisted living, hospice. Talk a little bit about the differences with those.
Sure. Sort of along the continuum of care, you would begin at the independent living level, where somebody would require very little, if any, assistance in their day-to-day living. From independent living, which would be like a senior community, senior apartments. Beyond that, you might have assisted living, where you do have more assistance. There is some nursing available. There's medication management, administration. So you have more assistance with those day-to-day tasks. Beyond assisted living, the next step would be nursing care, skilled nursing care, which is often provided in a nursing facility, also called a long-term care facility. So there are a lot of different words used to describe the same thing. And a CCRC is a continuing care retirement community. So that's where somebody can receive all levels of care in one place without having to move from facility to facility every time their care needs may increase.
And so a CCRC could be like all of the other ones you just described.
Under one roof.
Under one roof.
Theoretically, yes. Not exactly under one roof, but at least on one campus.
Right. So taking a step back, let's say people are looking to plan and do the best they can, we have documents, legal documents. Let's walk through some examples of these types of documents that people should have.
Sure. Anytime somebody comes to me well in advance of the need for long-term care and they want to know what can they do now, the best thing that anybody could do to prepare for long-term care is to have updated estate planning documents. Typically that would include a last will and testament, a financial power of attorney, and an advanced medical directive. Those three basic documents will cover your bases. Your financial power of attorney and the advanced directive are your lifetime documents. So while you're alive but perhaps disabled or incapacitated for some reason, your agent under a financial power of attorney or advanced directive can step in and make decisions for you. And you can provide instruction for those agents in those documents. So they're extremely valuable. And then, of course, your last will and testament would dictate what happens to your property upon your death. So those three basic documents will enable your agent, which would be a family member most likely, to implement a plan in the event that you did need long-term care. So I just want to re-emphasize, of those three, perhaps the most important is the financial power of attorney. And it's critical that clients consult with an elder law attorney or estate planning attorney so they have a comprehensive financial power of attorney. It can be scary because it's a broad document and it includes lots of powers that you may not understand why they would be needed. But if we draft the power of attorney too narrowly, then we run the risk of eliminating a power that the agent may need in the future, that they would need to do long-term care planning or asset protection or things like that. So it's very important to make sure that it's a comprehensive financial power of attorney.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, they're very helpful for our viewers. We're going to take a break. Again, this is Brian Kuhn, and you're watching Your Future, Your Finances with elder law attorney Shannon Hammond. We'll be right back.